Okay, YouTube, I've got more Hopsin and SwizZz for you. This is their debut project, at least as a duo, which is Haywire. Now, Hopsin himself had actually not put out his own debut album just yet, and he was on Ruthless, who was delaying his album. But he did have Funk Volume, and they were trying to get this record out in the summer of 2009, but were unable to due to his contract. So this was supposed to be the debut, and it would have been pretty wicked just because SwizZz and Hopsin are capable of making songs. Now, this is one of the first things to know. I kind of underestimated this, but I do understand Hopsin's ability to make songs. This is probably one of the best projects they have done, but I feel like it's still a tad underwhelming because they do not pair up as a duo much. And out of 14 songs they only both spit verses on 4 songs, one of which is the intro song, and then another one is just a song that doesn't work very well. So that leaves Bad Motherfucker and Lucifer Effect as the only 2 songs you really get to hear both of them on. Now, this is a major disappointment just because as a duo, we really could have used some execution. A lot of times a rapper will get in the game and put on their bud, but we just don't get enough emphasis. It's not going to work with just 2 songs, but both of these guys had not dropped an album at that point, so we're getting 4 songs from each of them by themselves. Now, we know what happened with SwizZz, but these early Hopsin songs, the first real collective project that he was on, there's a lot of them that I take very seriously as far as how good they are. A few of these are like, I'm trying to read the list, Cover Up and Leave Me Alone. Both of these are well put together. They almost sound like they could have made it on Knock Madness and been fine, or Gazing at the Moonlight. But SwizZz also does it, and he has a really good song in the song Ramble, and another one in Really Wanna Know. So they each dropped 4 songs, so what I noticed is me liking 11. Another one I appreciated by SwizZz was the song Blow a Cloud. And I'm going to discuss these more in detail in a few minutes, but 2 songs, there was like 1 song that I didn't, it was like Hop Is Something, I'm in the other room, but the songs that I don't mention are, you'll notice the ones, but I think there's 1 from each of them that just didn't make the cut, so that leaves about 3 songs from each of them solo that happened, so, and 2 as a duo. But alright, like, Ramble has a real Ramble feels really upbeat and pretty prolific song. That's a really good instrumental right there. There's gonna be times where you're gonna wish that Hopsin appeared on the song. I mean, if you count him being on the hook or something like that, but I don't. So that's something extra. Cover Up that one sounds like it should have been on Gazing at the Moonlight. Lucifer Effect is another great one. Some of these kind of have traces of sounding like horrorcore, and these are excellent moments. Now, Bad Motherfucker's another one like that, and Leave Me Alone is another one that sounds like that should have been on a Hopsin solo. And so really what you're getting is just madness. I mean, it happens to be madness throughout the whole time. So I'm going to mention the songs that you need to hear. So Lucifer Effect, Too Far Gone, well, not Too Far Gone, I wound up not liking that as much, but Lucifer Effect, Really Wanna Know, Bad Motherfucker, It's All Good Now, Ramble, I Make the World Spin, Lodo, Cover Up, Leave Me Alone. Now there's an additional one called Blow a Cloud, and that's really good. So the main thing about these songs is they have a different feel to them than your standard rap song, and this is kind of something. Noticing music from 2009, it feels like this was kind of attempting, it just had a new direction to it, and that's what surprised me so much, is because you can get this album for free or digitally, and the main thing about it is it does sound a lot more with the times than music that came out around this time. And I think, you know, trends don't necessarily start off that early, but when they do, it's always neat noting these sorts of things, because it just feels like, you know, some of these folks are 2 or 3 steps ahead of what's currently going on. So you compare that to something that you've been hearing, like a Young Thug record, or a Chief Keef record, or you compare it to the standard Atlanta trap music and this various cats that you've been hearing, 2012, Rich Homie Quan, some of these guys that have been going about. It just feels like, you know, some of this sound was kind of ahead of its time a bit. That's important to note. So me liking 10 out of 14, I'm going to give this album an 8 out of 10, mainly due to the fact that it's original, it sounds refreshing, and it just was kind of unrivaled considering where it came out. I mean, it reminds me of something Brother Lynch would do. It reminds me of something that we'd hear from Prozac and a little bit of Big Scoob, Tech Nine, and some of these type rappers. A little bit of Twisted also. So a lot of that type music. It's a different type sound, but it has the effects of working pretty well. The fact that you can get this for free or you can choose to buy it is a huge plus. So the unfortunate part is the fact that the Funk Volume label is now defunct, so it's difficult to see if they're going to be able to release the records to this and you'd be able to buy it like the old days. It also did not have a huge ton of SwizZz and Hopsin getting the same time. Like, if you're here for Hopsin and you don't know SwizZz as well, there's only really a small handful of songs to get introduced to him with. So that's kind of a nagging complaint, but still is one. We know what happened with SwizZz making projects, but maybe we'll continue to see something. So that's about the only other thing. The social score will get like a 6, and that means how well it plays around your friends. And the only other thing left to say is the future. I mean, Hopsin, I can pretty much guarantee that he's working on music, and I'd like to know what his label is doing because he started a new one. So it'll be interesting to see what he'll be up to in 2017. That's about the only other thing. Can this record be topped? The answer is not really. In terms of free projects, you definitely want to download this. But the only other thing it's pretty, it wins big points just for the fact that it's kind of better than a lot of its competition. Subscribe for more fun.